Okay, good morning and welcome back to the channel. It is Monday morning. It is the 8th of April. It is the day of the solar eclipse, but where I'm at here, I'm way in the Pacific Northwest, and there's almost no percentage of it that can be viewed from here, like maybe less than 20%. So I just arrived over here. I just set my little GoPro session up right there on that track. That's the main line right there. If a train comes up here, we'll get a nice view of it. But I'm also getting a nice view of that bank of clouds off there in the distance. I don't know if it's coming or going. I think it might be going, because I think the winter storm is over for the time being. Alright, so time check. Almost 6:45 in the morning. Had a great night's sleep last night, a really good one. And you can see me a little bit better as the sun's not quite up yet. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about Hobo Shoestring. When I was here the last time, which was on Saturday, I was down over there. I'd driven my car over to there, and I was near the freight train station. This siding here is the one that we went and looked at, and then down there farther is another siding that we also looked at. And all the engines were there at the train station, and I could see quite a consist of loaded cars. And that might be it down there off to the left, but it also might be that it's gone. I thought it was on the main line, but right now there's nothing on the main line, and there are no engines over there at the train station. I had to get over here early this morning because I thought maybe we might see them working the yard after the weekend, and you know, getting all those loaded cars ready to go wherever. So it's pretty cold this morning. It's about 35. It was clear last night, but it was cloudy all day yesterday, and it seems like spring will never get here. So I wanted to share the story of how I come to find Hobo Shoestring's YouTube channel. I was working as a pastry chef from 2010 till 2022. I suffer from arthritis in both my feet, my knees, both my hips. I've had one total hip replacement, and I need another one. And you can see how these railroad ties here are pretty bad shape, but I don't believe they use this secondary main anymore. I can already see that we're starting to get some nice wind-blown waves in those clouds. They go from horizon to horizon. It's pretty cool, so maybe we'll get a really nice morning time-lapse here. So back to my story. My worst arthritis is my left ankle. This one I shattered in 1982. I've had a couple surgeries on it. It has hardware in there, and arthritis has set into the joint about the time I become about 45 years old or so. So it's really painful at times. And in my pastry chef job, which was basically a graveyard job, and I am still on that schedule, by the way. I still am usually getting up at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I haven't been able to break that habit. And in my bakery job, I'm required to be on my feet practically the entire day, and the hours can vary there. It's a very busy, very popular restaurant. During the winter, it is dead as a doornail, and during the summertime, we're just slammed busy. So during the winter, I could be working anywhere from 4 to 6 hours generally, but during the summertime, it's 6 to 10 to 12 hours, even a couple of 15-hour days. Those are really rare, but that was just causing all kinds of problems with my arthritis. Come, you know, the last couple of years I was working, 20 through 22, and I finally decided I just had enough of it. Unfortunately, the bakery is up 2 flights of stairs, and I think there was 23 actual stairs to get up there. And during the summertime, it would just really get ridiculously hard. You know, during the busiest times, I would probably make between 30 and 40 trips a day up and down the stairs, and often carrying some pretty heavy products and whatnot. And I just got to where I was abusing pain medicine really bad. I just stopped caring. I tried repeatedly to get disability. I had 2 different doctors writing notes for me, and they just turned me down flat every single time. So I finally just gave up in November. Well, it was October of 2022. I just put in my 2 weeks notice and applied for my Social Security. I was 62 and a half years old. I didn't want to retire that early, but thank God it was there for me. And I took my retirement, and that's it. Big jet overhead going across the sky. A couple of them off there in the distance. Sun getting ready to come up. So my Social Security is not very much to live on, but it's enough. I mean, I can make it. I have absolutely no debt whatsoever. I got a little bit of credit card debt, and that's all I've ever had. Well, I've had a lot more in the past, but if I had a whole bunch of debt, I would not be able to make it at all. So I'm doing okay, but you never know, you know, what the cost of things are going to be, and housing and all that. So it's not a really good feeling. So the way I came across Mark Nichols' channel was my last day of work was November 3rd of 22, and I spent about a week sitting at home enjoying the fact that I don't have to work anymore. And I found myself getting bored really fast. So I said to myself, I really need to have a daily walk, probably a couple of times a day. And I wanted to do a sunrise, sunup morning walk. I just felt that that was a good thing to do. Decided to start walking from my house in the morning as soon as it started getting daylight. And I wanted to do about 2 miles. Well, about 4 miles. 2 miles one way to some place I didn't know, you know, what it would be. But I went about 1.5 miles, and I suddenly end up here at the freight train station, and I'm getting kind of tired. I'm worn out. I wouldn't realize it was 1.5 miles until I actually measured it later on. But that took me over here, and as I arrived way up here where the crossing's at, there was a train working the yard here, and it was a big long train. It was 3 or 4 engines, and it was exciting, and I've always had an interest in trains. I had already started my YouTube channel, The Future is Retirement, to discuss retirement issues and kind of reach out to some people. I had a lot of trouble getting my retirement. It took well over 3 months. I applied for it. It was taking so long. I was living off my savings, and you know, that wasn't going to last very long. So I finally contacted Aid, and I asked them if there's anything they can do to get this to push through, and they said yes, we can contact them. And they did, and the next day I had an 8-minute interview on the phone, and they approved it. It was really ridiculous that it took that long. So I had the YouTube channel already, and when I came over here on that first walk and saw all the train activity going on, I thought, this is cool. Come over here Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends too, and just film the train activity. And I also didn't know anything about trains whatsoever, so I decided to search online for, you know, train yard, freight train yard, whatever. And just about the first result I got, amazingly, was Hobo Shoestring. And here's this guy with this great big huge beard and all the rest. So I watched one of his videos and I was really intrigued. He was very knowledgeable, and I don't know if there's any videos of his that you can't help but learn things. That was really the cool thing about it, is he's a very knowledgeable guy, and he's just teaching in every one of his videos. He's sharing knowledge, and that's one of the things that really drew me to him. Those clouds are definitely coming this way. This ought to be a really cool cloud time lapse today. It's been only about 15 minutes, but we're gonna hang out here a little bit longer. So as I said, the last time I was here was Saturday, and that's the morning that I learned of, unfortunately, Shoestring's passing, that he had been found and it had been confirmed. And that must have happened late Friday night when they found him. So over the weekend I kind of stayed at home and I watched the last 4 of Hobo Shoestring's videos. I have seen many of them in the past, but I have not seen all of them. I think there's 512 of them, but I've seen probably about 40 or 50 of his videos since I found his channel. But for some reason I didn't watch the last 4 videos, and they took place over the last 2 months, well, 3 months I think. And so I watched those, and it was kind of tough to watch them, you know, knowing that that's the last videos of Mark Nichols that we will see. So I really hope his channel continues on. I know he's got a pretty nice merchandise store. I hope that continues on. I'm probably gonna buy one of his hats. I honestly didn't know that he had a merchandise store, and I think it's shoestringarmy.com. So that's how I found Hobo Shoestring on YouTube. And I will continue to watch his videos. Like I said, it's just kind of hard right now. But I've also subscribed to quite a few other railroad channels since I started coming over here in November of 22. And I'm probably subscribed to too many channels on YouTube, and because I just don't have time to watch them all. And but I will eventually get to them all for sure. I just hope and pray that his channel stays up, because it's very good, and I just hope there's some way that can still exist. And now the sun has finally come up, and as I stand here just quietly, I can actually feel the heat of the sun on my face, and I think that's cool. That heater is 93 million miles away. There's the edge of the clouds there, and they're definitely moving in this way, so perhaps we do have another storm. I didn't look at the weather report today. I just thought it was going to be, you know, through the weekend, and then the weather would start to clear, but who knows. But it looks cool. I'm going to let that time lapse run a little bit longer before I start the journey back home. So it's a 1.5 mile walk from my house to here, and then 1.5 miles back. And I at least do it once a day, and Monday through Friday, not always on the weekends. And then I can always try to do it a little bit in the afternoon. But if I push it too far, the tie is really out of shape, isn't it? But if I push it too far, I can suffer with arthritis pain. And I don't want to be taking any pain pills if I can help it. One of the big incentives for me to take my retirement and get off my feet was my addiction to pain pills. And that includes narcotics. I was mixing some stuff that I should not have been doing, and I knew I could not keep that going very long. So I finally just had to bite the bullet and take early retirement. Would have been nice if I could have got disability, but they just came up with every excuse as to not give it to me. I try not to be bitter about that. But I've had a blessed life. I really have. I've had a better life than some people have. And I try to just stay focused on that, on what God's given me. And I'll be 64 years old this month. That means that I outlived my dad by 5 years. And my brother, my older brother, was 64 when he passed away from cancer in 21. So I really don't have anything to feel bad about. I have what I need to make it in these final years. So comment down below if you're going to get to see the eclipse today. I got to see one that we had here a while back, a couple of eclipses ago. It was interesting. So as I mentioned in the last video, that this area that I'm at and have been at today is not posted no trespassing. The no trespassing signs start right over there, because there's that's the back end of a business there, and those people come down here and park down there. It's just that there's nobody here right now, and there's business access there and so forth. So for some reason this area is not posted, but you just go right down there just a little ways and it is clearly posted, and it's posted all the way down in there. I'd love to be going down in there, and you know, where there's, you know, 8, 9, 10, you know, sightings, and but it is posted no trespassing. Well, I guess I'll head back now, and I'm hungry for my breakfast slash lunch. Usually I'm going to bed around, try to stay up to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, or even later, but it does not always work out that way. But I'm going to go home and have a little bit of breakfast, and I'll quickly show you what that's going to be. And then I usually have a tossed green salad for my lunch, and then dinner could be any number of things. I think I do some Swedish meatballs for my dinner tonight. Pretty good stuff. Alright, for my breakfast today, I've got some leftover long grain white rice, and we're going to crack a couple eggs and stir fry some of this up, because it's going to be good. I'll get some black pepper in here. It is currently 8:30 in the morning. Perfect time for some stir fry long grain white rice. Alright, that's plenty mixed up. We got some black pepper in there. Let's put some olive oil in Grandma's old cast iron skillet. She was using that long before I was ever born. Alright. We got quite a bit of olive oil in there. I probably put a little bit too much, but that's alright. Get some eggs going. We need to turn our heat up quite a bit more. Alright, we're just gonna quickly just scramble this a little bit. We don't have to scramble it too hard. And we'll get our rice in there. If it were dinner time, I could be putting vegetables in here and all kinds of guac. But if I was going to use soy sauce or any kind of a sauce like that, I would not be making it in a cast iron because that would cause some problems with the seasoning. Alright, now we need to get some rice in there pretty quick. This will really hit the spot. After my nice long walk this morning, that ought to be about enough. So I've got it turned up pretty high now because we want this to cook pretty quick. And I don't have a wok. I've never owned a wok actually. I can actually do. I made way too much here. That's okay. But I've never owned a wok. I can do everything here in the cast iron. I just can't obviously flip stuff. I've never worked in a Chinese restaurant. I've worked in lots of restaurants before I took my final job as a pastry chef. And that was going to be my final job, and I knew it. It's a good place to work, and I would probably still be there today. I might have even stayed after I was 67 years old. But arthritis just kind of had a different idea. We'll get some more black pepper in there. And that'll be a good little breakfast this morning. I did make a little bit too much. That's okay. That's all there is to it. Just let that cook for a little bit. Be very delicious. Alright, my GoPro battery is almost dead. I need to get this plated up real quick so it dies completely. My cast iron skillet is very, very non-stick. A little bit right there on the edge. But I maintain my cast iron very, very well because I really enjoy using it. We'll leave that off the heat. There we go. There we go. That's a nice breakfast. All right, it's chow time.